big legend, homie.
Hello, Miss I Speak Life. How you doing? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the real deal versus how you feel. I'm your co-host, Twinsinc, with Miss I Speak Life. Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. Miss I Speak Life. How you doing?
Testing 1, 2.
How you doing
I was
today?
trying to answer. I'm well. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. This is the real
How
deal
are you
versus how
today?
you feel. I'm feeling good today. It's Monday, sunny, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm in Georgia right now, so the weather is looking like 77 right now. So good my way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good my way today too. Believe it or not, we're doing pretty good. We got a good 70 degrees, so that's pretty cool for us.
Yeah, we're going to get some 80s tomorrow. So I think 82 and then 83, something like
Oh,
that.
you're gonna try to rub it in, huh? You gotta
All
go
the
to step
way
up. We
in,
can get the 80s tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll be in my bathing suit tomorrow. Yeah, I see you.
Sorry, but not
All right,
sorry.
I see. This is the real deal versus how you feel. Welcome to everyone. Glad to have you come along and share today with us. We just talked about the weather. We have nice weather both in New Jersey and Atlanta. Twins going, rub it in a little bit. But today's topic is they say time heals all wounds. So why are we still bleeding? Yeah, and I mean, I know where it came from, but when you first hear that, Twins, what comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind is the events that just happened last Wednesday and for the rest of the week. And I don't know if the healing will ever happen because we're constantly nonstop bleeding all the time. So yeah,
Right.
that was my thought when I saw the topic. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you may know or may not know, but we come up with topics, but we don't talk behind the scenes. This is straight organic. We shoot directly from the head from once we see the title. Okay. So yeah, that's the thought process I saw when I saw the title. How about you?
Right. So when I thought about it and chose the title was more so like, dang, it was from the conversation, like you said, we had regarding the incident last week. But
Friday.
then, as you know, I'll start pondering, and now as I was pondering, there's so many different variables of how we're still bleeding. It's like we're bleeding all over the place at this point. Because it's not just like, oh, you're bleeding out from your wrist. but it's like we bleeding in our neck. It's like internal bleeding, right? For the psychological breakdown of the enslaved people, who still stuck in trauma, still stuck in the system mind, right?
Right.
So I feel like that's internal bleeding for us, if you think about it. And those that have, the open wounds that are the blood is kind of like clotted up,
Right.
it's still bleeding a little bit, not but it's not gushing out. Those are the ones who think they made it. I got my degree and still not understanding you still bleeding because
Definitely
now
bleeding.
you don't understand the family structure. You just stuck on you. It's still a bleeding. And I mean, twins, when I tell you how I'm thinking about it, is, I try to be solution driven, right?
Right.
So, I'm healed from anxiety. So I was like, okay, if I process each one that just comes to me, maybe I can reach a place of solution. But it was like my mind kept going before I could think how to heal. Let's just say the education system.
Mm.
It's like it just took me back to my hip bone connected to my da da, the song with the bone.
Yeah.
Right. So everything's connected. So I'm like, well, what? I was really sad, and now I'm like, well, I look forward to this conversation. To hear, hopefully how other people are processing and what they feel, where a start could be. Now, I know we said last time a start could be some basic principles that we all agree on. We all want to live, right?
Facts.
That being number one principle,
Number one.
and having some type of equality or fairness and things like that. But yeah, after that, I thought that I could think more, and I just was stoned
Mm.
in the worst way.
But one thing you,
But
yeah, now one thing you said earlier, which made a lot of sense, is that when people feel like, hey, I got my degree, I'm educated, I made it, right? Not
mhm,
knowing education is key. Education is very important. So I'll never say don't get your education, right? Never at all. So it's very important. But it is another type of form of slavery. Depending,
mhm,
the length of time you're in college, the debt that you rack up, because once you get out in the
mhm,
workforce, right, with your degree, congratulations, yay, I got my degree, so I was part of that crowd. Congratulations, got my degree. I feel I made it, right? But now I'm have to go to find a job that's not going to pay me the money that I expect to make when I first get out of college. So guess what? Now I'm in debt to pay back a college degree that I thought I was gonna make more money coming out, and I'm still in the same rat race. So
mhm,
yes, education is key, but if you're not strategic with it, and if you don't have people lined up to put you in a place where you get a job out the gate, you're gonna come out the gate swinging, and you're gonna be striking out because if you don't know nobody, you can't get a good job making the money that you said you want to make. So you're constantly at that point working multiple jobs, trying to survive. You know, factor
right, because your income debt ratio be all jacked up.
all jacked up, all jacked up,
Hmm.
and once
And that's
again,
why when you hear
yep,
all of this high this, high that, yeah, you could find somebody that might be making good money, but if you don't do that back end and see, well, what you putting out, what you think is a lot becomes a little.
exactly right. It sounds good. Yeah, I got six figures, but guess what? Every month when I get $10,000, right? Well, guess what? After you pay all your bills, you ain't left with $1,000.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So yeah,
Mhm.
congratulations being, making a high earner or having, $100,000 a year. But if you're only leaving each month with $1,000 to survive with, how's that going?
Right. Right.
Now if you got 5,000 left over every month, then that's you're winning right there. But that's a whole different topic. But we just
Right.
we
But
just
when you talk about education, right,
hmm
and how it could be beneficial, I think we're still, like you said, bleeding and missing the mark because look, now you have these women who are getting this education, and of course, we all know Ms. I See Life is pro family, black family, all of the good stuff,
hmm
But I'm just speaking from a honest perspective, right? And again, the first time this had ever really been brought to my attention was actually the Chop team when Dark Steph the Dark Child
Hey.
made the point to say, yeah, shout out to Steph the Dark Child, A. He made the point to say that women are, they have these degrees, but they're not moving the community forward with them, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have a degree in, let's just say, public service or, what else, social service or something, but it's not pushing the community forward. It's not the engineering or the foundation or whatever. And it's not a dagger to the women because again, the women are in positions that's not really cut out for them. Like if it was a puzzle, you know how you could make a puzzle piece fit when you frustrated enough?
Right.
You'll make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, as you progress and you start to finish the puzzle, you see how it don't make sense because the piece that actually fits there, you find it and it fit perfectly, no struggle. I feel like that's what would happen. And when Seth the Dark Child said that, I'm not sure what his intention was or his tone, but I didn't get it was a fault or a blame for
Right.
the women or for the men. It's just to say that we have to look at it and really think, well, if we're going to use education, can we use it in a way that moves our communities forward? And if women want to thrive, that's the goal. I want to be this independent woman, let's just say, and I want to be educated. Can you go for things that are going to push the community forward? And not to say that some women don't. It's just that the women that do go for the things that push the community forward don't have the support from the men, right?
Right.
And here's what I'm talking about. So if you have women in education, right, that's part of the nurturing. If you have women in political offices, that's part of pushing the community forward.
Mm-hmm.
But when those women are in those places and they're dealing with men who don't like to see them in those places, now they're not being supported. So they're facing other things as well. It doesn't help, right? So when we see each other in these positions, right, just knowing that there's a lot of folks that's not in any of these positions, not in education, not in in politics, not in health, not we're in it on smaller scales. You got a lot of CNAs, a lot of MAs, and those
Yep.
things. And not to say we don't have nurses and doctors, we do,
We do.
but when we don't have enough, right? But when we do get them there, can we support them? Male or female?
Right.
Can we not tell a woman that's a physician that she's not of value? Can we not do silly stuff like that? And instead be the king that she needs, adjust her crown and say, you're in this position and we need to move this way to move us forward. Just, direct her where she needs to go, where this makes sense. Make her position make sense is all I'm saying. Or his position, on both scales of this. But yeah, I definitely have that thought that he said from when he said that stays on my mind. Because it's like, okay, if I go to, because I was actually, and I'll just share this. I was in school,
Mm-hmm.
and I recently just came out of it because I was going to school for psychology. Right now, I'm a MIT, which is Ministers in Training and everything. I work and stuff too, but I had a conversation with someone else, and they basically told me, you getting a degree in psychology is pointless. And I was like, what? And they gave me an opportunity, but because I have an open mind, I didn't get offended. It wasn't any triggers.
Right.
I just wanted to know how you feel comfortable enough telling me this, right?
Right.
So I felt, well, whatever you about to say better be valid, or I'm coming for you, because that's just how I am. So what they were able to share with me was the opportunity of, less time, a better plan. You know what I mean? And a more efficient way to get to a certain place,
Mm-hmm.
get to point B more efficiently in less time, right? So time efficient. And then go back after, because like I said, I'm in MIT as well. After that, then if I still choose to, because that is going to do something all in itself that could still align me with the work that a psychologist or, a therapist does, social worker, or, so forth and so on. So it was interesting, but it was a great opportunity. They presented me with the information that positioned me for a great opportunity. So I listened, and now I understand. But if we're just killing off each other like, your degree don't matter, it does though. Because if we had to build a community up, we need a doctor. And if the only doctor is a woman, what you gonna say? You don't have value? Really?
That's true. No.
No. you know.
So
So.
and so another thing too when it comes to on the education and also working in these corporate America positions, right? It's an unspoken thing, but it is a thing. So once you're in these corporate America and you're moving up the ladder, and if you work in corporate America, you understand this part. As you move up the corporate ladder, the color is light. Is light. You don't see to me brown color people up the ladder it goes. And the sad part about it is that when you do get the opportunity to move up, it's an unspoken thing, but they want you to separate yourself from the people that you normally affiliate yourself with, right?
Mhm.
And so at that part, that's another form of separation that they have with us, because when you look at right now, if you look at the black people in high positions across the world, politicians, judges, nurses, doctors, whatever, right? They don't act like us, like the average folks,
Mhm.
right? And I'm not saying they have to be in a position and have to be slang like "What's up, bro? What's up, my ninja?" All that stuff. No, no, you could be corporate, but don't
My
forget.
ninja.
You know what I'm saying? But don't forget who you are. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem, that when it comes to us in corporate America and seeing other people in positions, there's the disconnect. It's like when somebody is a vice president compared to someone who's a supervisor, the person, the vice president, is kind of look like the form of the house ninja, if it makes more sense to a lot of
Right.
people. And I'm not calling shots to anyone. I'm just calling it what exactly it is. I work in corporate America. I know how it works. You know, it wasn't said to me, but it was kind of hinted. Like, you need to watch the people who you're hanging with. I'm like, what's wrong with the people I hang with? This is the people I hang with is the reason why I'm in the position that I'm at now. The motivation, the support they gave me to help me get to the place where I'm at now, right? So now I'm in this position now. Now I'm supposed to say, oh, forget them. I'm with the new crowd now, so I can't have that type of relationship that I had before. And I understand there's work boundaries and work relationship you need to have with certain people, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that that's just another form of us being separated, and we're constantly bleeding, because you may see somebody look like you're like, hey, what's going on? And they look at you like, I don't know you. They super proper, super don't, like, okay, relax. I am relaxed. Okay, no mind. I can't kick it with this person. So that's what I just want to make sure is like, education's cool, working in corporate America is cool, but these are the things that you have to see and understand why we have so much separation. And
Mhm.
as I stated before, I don't know how we're gonna heal, because we're still constantly bleeding. And this not even have to do with
Mhm.
people getting shot and killed. It's just being around each other. We cannot come together and work as a unit, as one. And I like you said last week on Friday when you said the one thing we all have in common, black and brown people, we want to live. So if we can start there with the ground basis foundation, we all want to live. I think we can start there and build up from there. So I love how you said that
Yeah.
last week, was that we all want to live. Dope.
Right. Because I think everyone want to go their own way. Oh, I was hurt by the church, so I don't believe in that. Oh, I don't believe in this. Or I don't want to believe. Or I believe in this, and you believe in that. So how we can't function together? When in reality, what your practice, your belief practices, and what you choose to eat, and who you choose to lay in the bed with, and all of this stuff. What does this have to do with anything? Like
Mm,
that's all private information.
right.
You don't even have to publicize where you work. People are just doing this unnecessary things that you don't see some of these other cultures doing because of the bleeding, because of the internal bleeding, the mental space that we have been left in from going through something as severe as the Jim Crow law and slavery. So we have to get to a point where we're tired, right? So I don't care all right, look, I know I want what I want, but what's happening is not working. It's not working. So I'm willing to try something different. Can we all be willing to put our religion, put I identify as whatever that is. I don't know. The what do you call, how do we say that? Um, Lifestyle. Boom. Put our lifestyles and our accomplishments and accolades, all of these things. Can we put all of these things aside? And if we were to all grab each other hand to hand, just make sure the person who hand you holding don't fall.
That's dope. That is dope. And I think the problem with that is that um, everybody wants to have a certain title. Everybody wants to be, like you just said, people will go out there and let you know, like, hey, I'm a doctor. So every time you talk to me, you call me a doctor, right? Which I
Mm-hmm.
fully understand because you put a lot of hard work in and get that degree. So I'm not going to not, you know what I'm saying? I
But
understand that part.
I don't fully understand because that's not who you are. That's
That
what you
right,
had.
and I was going with that. Like, and I get that. Congratulations, but we can't be, cause especially number one, you're not my doctor. I don't care if you're a doctor of
Right.
psychology, whatever doctor field that you're in. Just remember, you're not my doctor. You know what I'm saying? So if I say your name, let's like look up. No, don't do that because other races don't do that. I can sit down, have a sit down conversation with a total stranger, not knowing that he's a CEO of a company, right? You know what I'm saying? He's a president. He's this. He's that. The third. I'm just having a real conversation because that's what normal people should do. We should be able to sit down and have a conversation about whatever, to shoot the wind, whatever, whatever. Be respectful, of course, right? And then come find later on. Oh man, I was talking to so and so. You didn't even know. But see, what we do, African Americans, we want to put our titles with everything that we do. Regardless if I'm a doctor, oh, I'm the owner of this company, or I run this store, I run that. If you go to a corporate place and just sit around and listen, people don't go around talk about their titles. Well, at least I'm gonna speak from the men's side. I know men, we don't go around say, well, I'm this and I'm that. Now, those conversations do come up when we start talking about what do we do, whatever. But if I go to Lifetime Fitness and anyone who lives in Atlanta or know a Lifetime Fitness, they're very expensive. But a lot of professional and high paying people go to those places. But I go in there, I'm going to having a good time. I'm not going there to walk into a usher or nobody, not at all. I'm going to play basketball, lift weights, whatever. But there's times that you actually meet somebody or somebody's there that's actually cool, famous. You don't know, but you have a conversation about working out, basketball, whatever, and come to find out this person is a hiring manager over here, he's a president over here, but
You
you,
know,
but they don't lead with those things. That's all I'm trying to say. They
you
don't lead
know
with those titles.
why?
Go ahead.
You know why though?
Why what?
In my opinion, why that doesn't happen. Why that's not a common thing when you're
Oh,
in those
yeah.
spaces.
No, go and tell people why. Miss I Speak Life.
Well, I feel the why is because there's no pissing match because they all have a pot to piss in and it's known, right?
Facts. Mm-hmm.
They know they come from the same Ivy League schools, the same community, so they already know what's what. There's no need to discuss it. You know the lawyers. You could tell when they all fellowship and
Mm-hmm.
congregate in similar areas. You know the branch manager. You know the project managers. You know these people because they fellowship together. So because they're also in the boardrooms together, so they see one another. See, the thing is, we be trying to put on, but we don't see one another because we're not really in those spaces.
That's true.
So then it
That's true.
becomes a pissing match.
Yep.
Now it's like, okay, what you do? Because you the only brother in your space, and you the only brother in your space. Instead of coming together, and I'm not just saying guys, let's be clear, we're just speaking generally.
Right.
You're the only one over here. You're the only one, and instead of just coming together and say, look, wherever we go, we're gonna make sure we link up together because I see you, you see me, regardless of what the exact earned income is, or regardless of the position. You are in the same space that I'm in with all of these other faces and cultures, right? We need to connect
Yeah, that's true.
and not be divided. Like, you went through some type of struggle because our people are in struggle. So if you made it here, I'm proud of you. The last thing you're going to hear me say is you don't have some sense of value, or you're not that type. You're not. It don't. Nothing negative is gonna come out of my mouth. But to anyone that has made it to a certain level, period, it's just to help them understand that your level has nothing to do with me.
That's true. That's true. Listen, I had a
Period.
listen, I had a conversation with one of my directors in my business that I work in. And he's a director, so everybody know his title, who he is. But he used to play football. So I had an opportunity to catch him outside on the break, whatever, and we started talking. And the whole time I was talking to him, I was talking to him as a average regular man. We talked about football, XYZ, whatever, whatever. And by the time conversation was over, I was like, "Well, you have a good day." He's like, "Man," he said, "Thank you." I said, for for what? I said, "You the first person who actually came up to me, had a conversation about nothing but my title, who I am, and in this business practice, and that you had a sit down, real life experience conversation with me because yeah, I see you as another man, you know, and like you said as well, because he was a brother, so you know, at the same time, he needs to understand that him just being in that position gives him give people like me the opportunity, like, hey, if he can do it, then I can do it too, right? That motivation. And
Mhm.
then to add even on top of that, that he's down to earth on top of that makes it even better. Like, okay, he's really cool. I understand he's Cooper, but he's still one of us. He didn't forget who he was. So that's something I just want to throw out there, ladies and gentlemen, because you know, when you did it gone, you can't take nothing with you. So that doctor title, the VP, everything you had doesn't matter when it's time for you to go. It's all about what your legacy that you left behind. And we're still bleeding. And
Right, and look at the isolation he probably faces just from the
yes,
speculation part. Like people just might assume, he in his position, he one of them, he sold out,
right,
blah 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 blah. Not even knowing, like, yo, this is just a goal I have for myself. I'm doing it, but you can still come and bust it up and talk to me. I mean, chop it up with me. You know, I'm brother to brother.
right.
So imagine how many times he's been in a space and he has to sit and talk to the other cultures because the people that look like him won't approach him
Right.
or treat him some type of way if he go to approach them, you know?
Right. Right. And of course, and they deal with a lot of pressure too. It's crazy because when they're like I said, he's black and he's a director, so he has other people he work with and be around. And of course, there's some other black people, but guess what? When that other black person do something, I say stupid, they come back to him and say, "What's going on with your buddy?" Everybody's not my buddy, but but you understand that's something that he has to deal with all the time, regardless if he knows you or not. They're gonna come
Hmm.
to him because he's a brother, number one, and two, they think we all affiliate with each other. But it's like, come on, brother,
Because it makes sense too. If
right?
you think about that, and
I
that's
know.
not the first time we've heard that.
Mm-mm.
They feel like we all are attached. We all know each other. But that's because that's what would make sense. Because they all know each other.
Facts.
And we don't even pick up those little gems and jewels from them. You know what I mean? We just look at it like it's a bad thing. Oh, they all think we look alike. Da, 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 da. Bro, that's because they feel like they all look alike. They all know each other.
They do, and
You
and
know?
and now that's a good example for you to go out there and connect with those people. You know what I'm saying? So you can get to know them. So y- you can persuade them to do better in their career or whatever they want to do. But you could be the advocate for the people. I'll just say that
Right, right.
instead of being so
Because
separated.
we could be more. It could be more of a support. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If a person is going through something and you don't have no one to vouch for you, the only one of you in the area, that's a hard place. I mean, in terms of being in a boardroom or a high office um, space, I don't know what that feels like, but I do know what that feels like as a little girl because I was one of two black kids in my classroom when I was in first grade in Country Lake. You know, so and they kept me back. How you keep somebody back in kindergarten?
Is the system is
That don't
not
even make sense.
the system not set up for us. I mean, the only time you should get like, and that's in your scenario, the only time you should get held back is if you miss a certain amount of days, right? If
But
you
that's
miss,
what they put it as that. So
oh,
legally,
okay,
air quotes on legally, they were able to do it. But here's the thing: I transferred there, so technically, I went through a whole school year in Union County, right? Went through
right,
the whole school year. At the end of the situation happened, I had to be moved. I moved over. Now I'm in, I think that's Pemberton County. And instead of them accounting for all of the time I had just spent in school, they said, "Oh, you missed all those days here." How do you? How that don't make no sense.
I'm sorry, it's not funny,
How could
but
I have been here? I was in
right,
school though, so it wasn't like I was out of school. I was in school, and I was, and I don't hold it, like I don't feel bad about it or anything. It's just it made sense to share that for this part of the conversation
right,
because, but what they don't realize is what it did to me is it propelled me. My birthday is late. I'm a November baby, so it didn't hold me back where I would have graduated at like 19 or anything crazy like that. But when I did go back to the county where I came from, and everything like that,
hmm,
guess what? I was a GT student. Why? Because I just sat through a education system that is for predominantly not my people
right,
twice, twice. So because, and this is as young as kindergarten, so twice. I'm doing first and second grade in kindergarten because of where I'm located. When I got back to Union County, I was and matter of fact, we were in Essex County by that time. When I got back, and my family was in Essex County,
hmm,
I was in gifted and talented. So from first grade to seventh grade, I was a GT student. So that's what it did for me. So it's like, when you try to hurt people, you might be doing, you might be helping them. All things work for the good of us. That's what I believe anyway. But that's the real thing. Now, did they know that was going to be the case? No, they had an agenda,
right,
because they were trying to get me to have to be back in the school where I came from because of the situation. So they weren't trying to educate me at all in real life. But like I said, I ended up staying, longer than we had initially. Well, I guess longer than initially it was set up for. So I ended up doing the grade again,
hmm,
and I was doing second grade work in kindergarten, and that's why in seventh grade I was doing pre-calculus at Cicely Tyson School. So it propelled me, and we have to start taking that positive um take takeaway
hmm,
from these situations we've gone through. And I think that's what we try to do majority of the time. I know we got a message, so I want to go ahead and
yep.
I don't know if you can see the transcript. Is it good to go or what?
It doesn't show them, but I'm gonna hit play.
Okay.
Be the show the real deal versus how you motherfucking feel. Let's get out your feelings. How you feeling, babe?
Welcome, welcome. Thank you
We
for the
need to
message,
do a commercial.
Big J.
Big J got to do a commercial for us.
I know, right? I'm gonna play again for the next message. Let's see.
Tell you how I feel right now. I feel like really stoned. Like, so just to be clear, I read Mein Kampf, and I get like really stoned afterwards because Hitler said a bunch of German stuff in that book, and it's pretty inspiring.
Okay.
All right. What we not gonna do is be inspired by Hitler on this real deal versus how you feel.
Oh
What
Lord.
we're not gonna do.
Hey, he's smoking some good stuff. But anywho, so Miss Asper, like, let me ask you a question here, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so what does time heals all wounds? What would that look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, if
So
we,
that's the saying, right? They
yes, I
tell
know.
you time heals all wounds. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying to myself, okay, well, I'll get over it. How do I get? So it's not time that heals the wounds. That's the misconception. That's the miseducation. How
Right.
we work, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. If you think about those words, time heals all wounds, this is how some of the marriages lasted for so long, right? Because they just stayed. They were just in there, just to be there, I don't know, for security purposes early on for women. They stayed in in whatever situation they were in, and a lot of them had babies. Baby making was a thing because men were proud to have children. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you continue to progress that, and it's like, okay, well, things we talked about, family secrets and things being brushed under the rug, so you just compress it, and you try to forget about it. And instead of really approaching the situation and tackling it and handling it, cleaning it up if you had to, go inside and, I don't know if you've ever had like a cut or a break, like a bone break or anything like that.
Yeah.
But in some of those instances, you have, right. So in some instances, if you have a cut and it gets infected, they have to reopen the cut, go inside, clean it out, and then redress it properly. Right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the broken bone. If your bone is broke, sometimes they have to re-break it, like, they put it in the correct position
Mm-hmm.
and then align it, so that it aligns well. Well, that's what we should be telling our young people and really speaking the truth to each other is, no, time is not going to heal it. The work that has to be done will heal it. You got to go back. You got to clean it out. And then you got to redress it, make sure that it's dressed properly. And then the time heals the wound. But if you just put a bandage over a gunshot, I don't care how much time, well, you're going to have long before the person die anyway. So, if they could last an hour, then that's about as good as it's going to get. But you get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's the miseducation, which goes back into the Jim Crow, because we were not informed fully. Therefore, we weren't informed properly. Just like when you look at how we're educated, we hear about our people from one point in time, just one point in time. So if you only hear about your people from this negative point, and you hear about slavery and that's all it was, and then you hear about Africa and they scare you half to death, and it's such a beautiful place. It's like it is a part of the agenda, and time healing all wounds is a lie. It's like I said, like our last show, family secrets. That's just one of them secrets you didn't want to tell nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You kept that thing a secret for so long. It's a lie. Just say it's a lie.
Well, let me tell you here.
You're trying to act like you're over it, but you're not.
Let me tell you here what Google says for time heals. Google says time heals all wounds is a proverb that means that grief and sorrow will lessen over time. Emotional pain is relieved as time passes. Yeah. Okay. So pretty much what they're saying is get over it. Just take a little bit of time and get over it.
And we all know that ain't how it really works.
No. Because that's where you throw some of that counseling in, because you're gonna need someone to walk you through some things. Everyone can't heal themselves. It's just that simple. You could be strong in the individual mind all you want, but sometimes you need someone else to look at it and just give you their perspectives. Because, like, you know what, I wasn't looking at it that way, but someone can help you with that. So counseling is definitely important and key.
Right, and life coaches. No, this ain't no shameless plug, but some people with real life experiences can really help you navigate and see a different perspective, if not multiple perspectives, concerning certain issues.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
These things are here for you. You just need to decide what you need. But please don't be deceived. We are bleeding, okay? We are out here in these streets bleeding all over the place. And there's been time, we've been out of slavery how many years now?
Over 40 years plus.
Allegedly.
Right. Allegedly, right.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Air quotes.
So, right. Yeah, so at this point, we have to really look at the big picture. And because we're solution driven, when we go through these things, no, we don't have all of the solutions, or we're not, the god of problem solving. However, if we can lend any light to a solution, we try to. So when I think of a solution, which I told you guys in the beginning of this, I was really stoned, but I think about how we share information. I think about when we look back over the past generations of those who were successful in their efforts to push our people forward. When we talk about the Mary McLeod Bethune, Harriet Tubman, W.E.B. Du Bois, who else? Martin, Malcolm, all of those that we can, the ones that seem like we just keep recycling their names at this point, right? Because where's the modern day
Right.
Malcolm or modern day Martin, as they would say, or modern day Mary McLeod or Harriet Tubman? When we look at that and look at how they communicated with one another to move certain things forward, I think that's where we have to go back and say, okay, look, you know how they tell people to do in relationships? Write all of the things that make you happy and write all of the things that make you mad.
Right.
If the good outweighs the bad, then he's a keeper alive. Okay, anyway. But you get what I'm saying? In that same, like, I'm joking, I kid. If the good outweighs the bad, to God be the glory. Maybe. I'm not telling anybody to do nothing. But in that same sense, if we go and just take a check of what works, one thing for sure, boycotting works. We don't have the discipline our ancestors had.
Facts.
Because we won't boycott, and we know boycotting works.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was Malcolm, if it was Martin, if it was Rosa, it don't matter. It worked for our people, but we refuse to do it on large scales. Why? Because we're not disciplined. We want to keep shopping. We want to keep doing our thing. I worked hard for this money. This ain't my plight. This ain't my problem. That's your problem. I'm my own person. I'm an independent woman. I'm an independent man. I go my own way.
I tell people this all the time. Do not wait until it impacts you. Don't wait. Don't wait.
Not realizing it's already affecting you.
Right, it is, right. But don't wait till
you're part of the problem.
Right, because then when it happens, you'll be crying wolf. I'm gonna look at you like, hold up, because I can go to social media and look at your history and like, you was never down for the cause. Well, I'm gonna jump on your bandwagon. you was never fighting for us. But now it's convenient for you. Now you want to scream wolf. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying you're right, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah. But like you said, boycotting does work. I mean, I didn't know this, but in the history when they did the boycott against riding the buses, I mean, all black people from all over boycotted together, and mind you, this let's think about this for a second, people. They didn't have cell phones in the 60s and the 70s, okay? They didn't have cell phones. They didn't have Facebook Live, Instagram, Twitter, none of that. They have no way of communicating besides word of mouth. And I think the old rotary phone.
Listen to what you just said, and I know you got to finish this off.
Yep, go ahead.
So what you just said is the part that is profound, because we didn't have all of this technology that we don't control anyway.
Right.
We were able to get things done.
Facts.
Why not go back to the way we got things done? If it worked.
It worked.
Now I don't got time. Anybody got time? You walking around door to door. Anybody got time? Okay, go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm done.
But yeah, so no, all I was going to say was that they band together to boycott catching the bus, to where they lost money, to where they had to pass a law saying, okay, yes, black people can ride the bus and they can sit in the front, whatever. Because once you impact someone's money, they're going to act a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? When Gucci did that thing, and then, T.I., who's supposed to be one of the main people now, right, to speak for the black community, and he come out and say, we're going to boycott him for only, 3 months or 30 days or whatever. I'm like, are you serious? No, we boycott him, period, to where Gucci is, you know what I'm saying? Or not, I'm not saying they have to go broke, but where they can feel the pain of us not supporting them, and they need to think about their advertising before they do it. Like, no, that's kind of offensive for black people. Why are we doing black faces? Why are we still having black faces issued in the 2020s? Just simple. But once again, we don't know how to stay together, because, like you said, well, I want to keep wearing my Gucci. I worked hard for my money. This you work hard for it, but they can take it with a finger snap.
Right. And how you gonna say?
You know?
Here's the thing too. You got the people who are like logical thinkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little guilty here, even as a woman, guys. Yes. Who are looking at this like, okay, you got somebody powerful enough to get people to follow them, but where are you leading them to? Because you just publicly said 3 months. You don't think Gucci is a large enough, smart enough company to project what they need to do to be maintained for a 3-month L?
Right.
You know,
right.
based on
right. You just told them
these
3
people
months.
got people working. Like, what are you saying?
They're like, okay, guys.
All right, listen. I'm gonna rob you on Thursday, July 5th. Okay. That's basically who does that.
Right, that was done because they went back in their main office like, okay, guys, sales gonna drop for the next 3 months though, but on the third month or the end of the third month, we're gonna have a super sale and we're gonna do this, new product, and we're gonna get the money right back.
Make the money right back.
Right
no
back.
problem.
Actually, they're gonna make it back more because this actually people were waiting to spend money. I mean, it's crazy when people got their STEMI checks. There was actually lines in front of those Louis Vuittons and Gucci, and I'm not mad at those companies for making a money and making a product. I'm not mad at all. I get it. It's a business.
I'm mad.
But
I'm mad because people who don't have nothing, like if you're going to me personally, I cannot imagine myself just being a person. Now, granted, I understand your worth is not necessarily on hand cash. So I get that. Your net worth, some of these people who are worth billions of dollars don't have billions of dollars in real life. I get that. But if your money or, a substantial amount of all of this income you have from a particular client, let's just say, right? Let's look at it like that.
Okay.
Aren't you going to be loyal to that client and send them free stuff every once in a while and all of those things?
Right.
So this is how they try to hype us. Right? They give us little discounts here and there, but they don't do nothing for us as an overall client. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So the 20%, the 30% that we get as a thank you, so does everyone else. But if I'm your major client as a people, as a whole collective, shouldn't I get a little bit more incentive? Right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
You do training, like you could do training, you sell Herbalife, right? Here's your Herbalife clients. You got 5 clients. And, you got one that's just constantly on that website, constantly in the inbox, like, oh, I just joined, I just got another person or whatever. You got this person who working as if they making money from this.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not getting paid from using the product. The product may really work for them, or they might just be high energy and be one of those people who just got to do what is in the, what got to be, what people are doing.
Right.
Those people exist as well. So whatever the reason, it doesn't matter their reason behind it. But wouldn't you want to say, look, let me look at this. Dang, this person got me up like this. 70% of my overall transactions is done by this person.
Yeah, I'm gonna take care of them.
Let's send this person.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna send fruit products and stuff, and yeah, I'm gonna take care of them because they take care of me. That's how you keep.
We don't even
customers.
see that these companies are not taking care of us. They don't do anything for us as an overall client, customer. They're not taking care of us. They don't appreciate it. So that's why I still have a problem with that. Like, no, you target our community by certain marketing tools and things. We already know how that goes. You'll throw a certain song on the commercial.
Right.
A certain artist in front of it. And you blackface us and you take advantage. So no, I don't support none of these jokers. I mean, it's hard to support black too. I ain't even gonna hold you, but
that part.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother topic, but that part too, right? Right. We
need to talk about that.
We gotta do better, people. We gotta do better, Mm-hmm. We gotta do better. Mm-hmm. But we gotta do better and we gotta have patience. But that's a whole nother topic. I think we can dive in that in a whole nother conversation deep on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Be on time.
But yeah, you were saying, they make their money and it's cool, whatever.
Right.
What else?
Yeah. Right, which is understandable. I don't get mad, like for instance, people get mad at Jordan because he sells shoes for limited supply, but he has a business. People gonna buy what they want to buy. I can't be mad at him. I don't gotta buy it, but it is what it is. A business. Um, I forgot where I was going with that point with the people spending money. They threw me off there. Um, ah.
I'm sorry.
I know. We're talking about how they get stimulus money and they lose their mind, and but all that overall, they don't put that money back into the black community or into themselves. They don't invest in themselves.
Right.
That's a problem there by itself. You don't invest in yourself. You don't even invest in your kids. Ladies and gentlemen, be honest with yourself. If you're a parent, how many stocks do you have for your kids? How many savings and checking account you have for a kid? What are we doing for the next generation? You probably can't change what's
If you
going
have
on for you
any
right
life
now.
insurance policies,
Yeah, life
if you
insurance
don't have a
policy.
life insurance policy, hitting this I speak life up. I can write your whole life, term life, IRAs, all of the good stuff. So just hit me up. But yeah, you definitely want to have a policy in place for the people you love.
Yes.
Because one thing's for sure, we all gonna die.
And and it's right, and that's a fact. We all gonna die. That's the point. People dying every day, every other day, and that's another form of you could. You, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this, but your life can set your family up, people. It's just that simple. If you have over $1 million, $2 million life insurance policy on yourself, and especially you're a black man, or a black woman, or just black period, there's a high risk that you may get shot and killed. I'm gonna say what it is, but at least if you do, right, and you have things set up for you and your kids, your family, your girlfriend, your wife, whoever you're with, right, you can start the legacy off your death. So if you die, you're not dying for nothing, right? I mean,
listen.
Go ahead.
I can even help you too, because the chances are, if you don't fully die and you're in a wheelchair or you got a missing eye or arm, look, come see Ms. I Speak Life. We have a death and dismemberment coverage that will give you a nice little chunk of money if you missing one arm or one leg.
Right. Where you're unable to work.
Honestly.
You're still getting paid. And so with that being said, you don't have to be in Walmart in a wheelchair, or Walmart with a cast, whatever, or cane, greeting people, because you still have to work. With these life insurance policies, and just many of them, where if something happened to you, you can be bed rest, whatever, and you still get your same income that you have. This is things that we need to put to the side.
And
go ahead.
You get a disability, and your stuff is your monthly payment is still covered by the company.
That part too.
So they paying you, and they paying for you, so you don't miss no. You know what I mean? You still buying into your plan.
Yeah, that's true. And these are just some things to kind of help stop the bleeding, because, just think about every minute. Like, think about every parent or family member who lost someone. I'm gonna start from Trayvon Martin going up, right? And just imagine if every family member had $1 million life policy on each child that they lost, right? They're gone, right? But the thing is, the family who's left behind can start somewhere, right? They could even take that money and put that into a foundation in memory of their family member, right? To get it started and grow from there, right? Instead of having these other companies, Black Lives Matter, who give nothing back to all his families who got killed, but they use their name, their face, their image. If you go to the website right now, you see Trayvon Martin, all Mike Brown, exploit them for their money, and but they don't give back. I'm not trying to go deep, but they're not. Black Lives Matter is not going back to those communities. They're not going back to where Mike Brown was shot and killed in his community to make that community better. They didn't plant a Black Lives Matter office in that same neighborhood, headquarters in that neighborhood. Right. And honestly, my opinion, it should be in those same places. Wherever they get killed at is where they should have a headquarters right there. So they can all be, the police or whoever can be constantly reminded of what they have done and the changes that we're trying to do, right? So there should be a foundation where Mike Brown's killed at, Sandra Bland when she got pulled over at, Breonna Taylor at her house. Not her house, but that location everywhere is a constant reminder to help build the community up and do better for us as a whole. But we don't have these things. And this is why we're bleeding. But if we take care of ourselves by changing the narrative, by paying life insurance on every single family member in your house, so in the case of someone do go unknown, you know what I mean? In those type of ways, your family can survive. The pain is still going to be there. I'm not saying it's going to change the pain. The pain is going to be there, but this is a new way to to change the narrative, and just change the outcomes and how things move forward. That's all I'm
The
saying.
trajectory of the family.
Yeah.
Ew, and I'm going to even push that forward and say, really, at this point, especially like with the last week situation, after hearing the verdict and 5 hours later, another young black person life being taken. If you take all of the black lives that are killed in 1 month in the course of a 30-day period, right? And by the scenario you just gave, right? And just had all of those families buy land together.
Mm-hmm.
That would be outlandish.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That would be like so crazy. But how many? Look, the count. If it and again, some of these cases went 43 million, I think, right? Some things like that. Some cases, they get more or less. But if you were just going by twin scenario of the 1 million at least per family, per death or per life rather. No, you can't put a number on life, so that's not what we're saying.
Not at all.
But if the standard, right? If you would put this, and this is another part of the solution we talked about, liability coverage for these officers.
Yes.
So if their liability, the standard payout was $1 million per each violation, each death, then those folks, if they were to come together, and we know at least 8, right, that we can pretty much think about, name the situation or something like that, even if you don't remember the names. And it's hard to remember the names, and that should be another topic as well, because you don't want to be disrespectful and not remember the names, but there's so many names.
Because it just keeps happening. I mean, from last week, we got the verdict. Same day, a 16-year-old girl got killed. The next day, another man gets killed at a traffic stop. Another person on Friday got killed. It's like every day a black person is being killed. Every day. Unarmed. Make sure I put an emphasis on this. Unarmed. Now, granted, the girl did have a knife.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say.
I didn't even hear about yet.
Right. And she had a knife. I get that part. But what I'm saying is this. We know people who have shut up many places. They actually kill people and get handcuffed. But anyway, I digress. But yes. Those are the facts.
I think that is like another topic that we could do about, just how many, like, how can you remember the names and how people treat you? And that's another part of the bleeding, because now some black people feel like you lose your black card or it's revoked. Remember when we talked about the desensitization of it, right? When it's just overloading, it's so much. But, we should really think about, well, how can we create a better solution? Because there's a lot of names.
There's a lot of names.
And even in this call here, I didn't know there was another loss of life after the young lady.
Yeah.
They
just keep popping out. Like, it's like, really? Yeah. And it's happening so much.
Right, like no regard.
And you're becoming almost desensitized. It's like, okay, another one. Okay, what they do. Like, that's what the first thing people pop in their head. Okay, what they do. Not what, what the other person did. It's like what they do. And
why was whatever they did necessary for their life to be lost? You got people who have committed murders, mass murders, like we talked about the last time. And these people are still alive. They had a fair trial. They were able to go to court, and they're serving time. They probably getting help, but they get a meal each day, at least 3, for free. Who paying for that? We are.
Let me hit play.
Talk about that.
Right. Let me hit play here and see what this person said. It's not showing. Let's see. Yeah. It's my little kid. But anyway. Yeah. The names, the hashtags, and granted, there's also people who didn't get killed. Like, it's not just people getting killed, it's people also being harassed. I mean, just think about them young brothers who went to who's in Philadelphia, went to the Starbucks, and that was a whole big deal. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't buy a drink. You know how many times I ran to a McDonald's or Starbucks or any type of restaurant just to use the bathroom without paying for anything? A lot. But the fact that situation escalated, and it could have ended bad for the young brothers, but it didn't. You understand what I'm saying? And those things need to be accountable for too. You know, all the Karen calls, people calling people for no reason, just because, you know what I'm saying, they know that there's a high percentage chance of a confrontation may happen, right? And the poor boy last week was walking the neighborhood and the lieutenant was harassing him. Like, all these things, like, when can this stuff heal? Because, you know, as 400 years ago with slavery, but now we're still dealing with slave stuff right now. When does it bleeding stop? We have an unlimited supply of blood. Like, it doesn't. Even though we're not outside right now picking cottons, we're still in the same rat race we were 400 years ago. And now they're doing it recorded and getting away with it. I mean, this guy was the first person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, man, listen. Yeah. But yeah, Miss Hospital, that's what I have. What you got?
Nah, that's it. You know, we talked about the problem and the breakdown. If we were on a different platform, like, you know, I thought about going live and everything like that on Facebook, actually. So I could engage a little differently with people who are used to engaging with me, like on radio that way.
Okay.
You know, I said, well, maybe I'll start going back on Facebook Live while we do these podcasts, and I do station head for the live interaction.
Yeah, that can work too.
But it's hard as,
No. I'm agreeing with you. Those are good options.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So then, but I was like, but then it's hard because, you know, a lot of folks are triggered, and this is what Clubhouse has taught me. A lot of folks are triggered by the truth. And, you know, if I'm saying the truth, how am I going to avoid triggering it? And I was thinking, well, I'd have to have a way, you know, I'd have to have a person to really do it with me. Like I had a DJ on the show before. So, you know, if things were to go left, or if it's another perspective needed right away because it may be harsh coming from me or whatever, there was another voice there. So I thought, like, nah, I can't do it, because if it's a trigger and then I engage in whatever the person is triggered in, whether they know, you know, Facebook allows you to be people that know you personally, that just know of you, you know, it's so open. So if, let's just say, somebody that knows me who feels like I should feel a different way is triggered by what I said and they engage, which people that know me definitely engage, you know, like every my aunt or somebody like that, you know, and they'd expect me to be able to interact with them, right, respectfully. But I wouldn't be able to do that. That would have to be like a sidebar conversation. And I was like, no, I'm just not prepared to do that just yet.
Right.
So,
that makes sense.
You know, yeah, because even sometimes on here, you know, if somebody says something, they'll start directing a comment to me directly.
Right.
And it's like, all right, now we got to get back on track to topic. You know what I mean? But you're here, so it's a little different because you're the other voice. So it's like, all right,
okay,
blah,
I got
blah,
you.
blah, or just ignore them. Yeah, you get what I mean?
I mean, we can definitely
because then I'd be being rude to the listener.
Right. Well, we can definitely try a run there, you know, and I can always just jump in as well with you. It's not a problem. You know what I mean? I'm never scared.
Yeah, I would need. I feel like I would need to do that.
Yeah.
Because Facebook is a whole bunch of folks. You know, this is still limited to maybe like 100 or some people or whatever. You know, I got over 2,000 folks over on Facebook or so, or however many. But
right. No, I get that part.
You know.
Yeah, people that actually know you. So yeah, that's all gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and
so
it's genuine connections too.
Mm-hmm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was definitely a great topic today. This is the real deal versus how you feel. Miss I Speak Life in Twinsinc. And I hope today you got something out of this conversation, and be aware that the bleeding is still happening. So don't think because we won the case Wednesday, we're all and happy. We're not, because people are still getting killed each day. So yeah. So any questions, concerns, you can send us an email at therealdealversushowyoufeel@gmail.com. We're also on YouTube as well, The Real Deal Versus How You Feel. And anything else you'd like to say, Miss I Speak Life, before we wrap it up here?
No, I think we've had a really good show today, as we do each time we get together. I appreciate you, and I appreciate Stereo App as well, and
Yes.
all of the listeners and those that comment. Today I think everybody's still on the other application, but they share their views and everything like that. So guys, follow us on Instagram and on YouTube. Subscribe to the Real Deal versus How You Feel. Did you say this already? Send us an email.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and we'll be back. What's today? Friday, Monday, 3 p.m.
Yep. We'll be back Wednesday. Today's Monday, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m.
Dang, today is Monday. All right. Well, today is Monday. Hey, y'all.
We'll
Happy
see y'all
Monday.
Wednesday for the next topic.
See y'all Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.